Alright, hello everybody on YouTube. This is Joe for Games here once again. It's a little bit something different. I actually do play Yu-Gi-Oh! Been playing since probably I was like 8 years old, but I recently bought a Noble Knights of the Round Table deck. So that's the main box that it comes in. That focus. That's the actual secondary storage box that it comes in. It's a nice little Merlin picture right there. And I'm going to actually show you what I got from the box. I watched a couple of videos already, and I'm kind of surprised because it seems that I've gotten a couple of different, or actually not different, but a few more cards than of different types than other people have gotten. And this deck actually did, I believe, come out in 2014. So the openings that I've actually watched look a little bit different, as well as I got a couple of different things, especially from like a promo pack. A lot of people get like different things from them. The one thing that has actually stayed the same is the extra deck that I've noticed, and then of course the three actual main cards that you can see here: Bedware, Merlin, and what's this one called? Let's show that for you. The last chapter of the Noble Knights. That's a super shiny actually. The cards actually look really nice if you could see that and tell how that looks. The camera is actually doing some pretty good justice. This is what they would look like if you're actually holding them downwards, at a downwards tilt. It's very dark, but they are platinum rares, so if you hold them just right, you can kind of get the glimpse of like how the actual card looks in person. But as always, the camera doesn't really do it that much justice. We have Merlin here. Show that to you. And it actually looks really cool. My camera autofocus here. And then we have, as I said, Bedware, and I did actually sleeve these cards. They come with 70 sleeves. They actually look really nice. I was super surprised, but I did buy this from Walmart. I paid about $24, which is pretty great, especially since when the actual round table box came out, it was actually $50. So you could say this is probably really good steal. I'll actually go over the promos. So this is the pack that it comes with, the Power Up pack. I did open it just for the sake of having a little bit more time, just to kind of go through the cards, so I'll throw that there. And pretty happy with my pulls. The first card that I got was Torrential Tribute. And let's not give that one away. Torrential Tribute here. So just basically when a monster is summoned, you destroy all monsters on the field. The second card, Gold Sarcophagus. I was super happy about that one because that one's actually worth a pretty good amount of money. And I actually might use it for my Noble Knights of the Round Table. But that one's effect, let's see, you banish one card from your deck face up during your second standby phase. After this card's activation, add that card to your hand. And last but not least, the best card out of my actual promo pack, Effect Veiler. Now I have been waiting for one of these for quite a bit. She is actually a really cool card. During your opponent's main phase, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up effect monster your opponent controls. Negate that opponent's face-up effects until the end of this turn. This is technically considered a quick effect. So, this is an excellent card. I will probably end up putting this in my Noble Knights deck when I actually put the profile together. I do plan on buying a few more cards, just as singles. But yeah, that was definitely an amazing pull. I was super happy about that, as well as Torrential and Gold Sarcophagus. Sorry about that. But yeah, as you guys can see here, the main three cards that actually do get displayed in these three windows. This one had Bedware, Merlin, and then last can't even remember that last chapter of the Noble Knights. Gotta get better at these. But I did actually just get this today, so sorry for not being fresh with the card names. Now I'll go through the trap cards, because that's actually the least amount. Besides the actual extra deck, I'll actually do that after I finish the trap and spell cards here. So I got Avalon, as well as Call of the Haunted, Malevolent Catastrophe, which I also did not see a lot of other people get from the original ones when they first started producing these in 2014. And Dimensional Prison, which has been somewhat of a common card that I've seen also. They haven't changed that. And finally, Solemn Warning to round out all the traps. So overall, the traps that they actually give you are pretty solid traps. I mean, Avalon's pretty cool. Call the Haunted, as always. You can bring back any monster and special summon them. Malevolent Catastrophe. Let's see what this card's effect is. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. That's a great card. And then Dimensional Prison, you just banish a monster when an opponent's monster declares an attack. And finally, Solemn Warning, you pay 2,000 life points to either negate the summon of a monster or when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, which also includes the effect if a monster would be special summoned due to another monster's effect. So you only pay 2,000 life points to negate the summon or activation. If you do, destroy that card. So that's super great. I mean, if you're really looking for a card that can do some damage, it may cost you some life points, but that is kind of like the point. There has to be a cost to everything. The entire reason why Pot of Greed was banned, there's no negative cost to it. You just literally draw the card, you put it down, and then you draw 2 more cards on top of that one. That's why it was just broken. People would literally play that in Exodia deck, and they'd be able to draw 6 cards off of literally 1. If they kept consistently pulling it, or if they did actually get lucky enough to pull all 3 Pot of Greeds in their hand, boom, 6 additional cards right there, and you're pretty much working your way through. And whatever you pulled after that, whether it was like a Jar of Greed or pretty much like anything else, I mean, you could literally play, at that point, you could just play a deck of Greeds, essentially. Just Pot of Greed, Jar of Greed. I mean, you can even do maybe Pot of Avarice. You got Shard of Greed now, which is actually still legal. It's pretty good just due to the fact that it does technically not have a cost, but the cost that they would consider it to have is time, due to the fact that you have to wait 2 additional turns after you place the card on the field, due to the fact that you get 1 counter per every draw that's during the normal draw phase. That's the key right there. So every time that you draw a card during your regular draw phase, you get a spell counter, you put it on Shard of Greed, and then once you have 2 spell counters, you contribute the card and those 2 spell counters to the graveyard, and you get to draw 2 cards. So that's actually pretty balanced. So that's enough about Shard of Greed right there. But yeah, trap cards pretty great. Go through the spell cards. Right, so got Swords, Revealing Light, Dark Hole, Reinforcement of the Army. Obviously a useful card because every single card in here is a warrior. Besides Effect Veiler, actually. She's a spellcaster. Got Book of Moon. This is another card that I actually didn't see. Release Restraint Wave. I have not seen that one in any other Noble Knight deck opening that I have seen. Foolish Burial has been in every one at least. Swords at Dawn. I have not seen this one, but that just could be due to my bad memory. And then we have all the Noble Arms cards. Excalibur, which is the main one. Arfiducier. Sorry about that. Let's see. Got Gallatin. Double of Gallatin. Then we have Caliburn on a double. Then we have another double for Noble Arms of Destiny. And finally, we have the double of a field spell, Noble Knights of the Round Table, which is the same exact name as the deck box. So yeah, that'll round out the spells right there. Overall, pretty decent. Obviously, you're going to want to run all the spells that are here. Dark Hole is more of a contingency, just due to the fact that it destroys all the monsters on the field. A lot of these monsters do actually depend on going to the graveyard, but still, it starts becoming a lot harder to get them out once you start running out of stuff to bring them back with. So now we'll go over the extra deck real quick. I'll go over the Synchro monster. I know a lot of people actually either run the deck one of two ways. They'll either run it with Synchro monsters, or they'll run it with Xyz monsters. I personally don't know how I'm going to run this deck once I get it up and running. As of right now, I do have 4 decks that have been built. I built them a while ago. I have a dragon deck, a fairy deck, which is actually a super boss deck. I know a lot of people might actually think that's funny due to the fact that they're fairies, but they are super powerful. I got the fairies from the Lost Sanctuary, so I built them and made them pretty powerful. Made them even more powerful by adding Utopias into the extra deck. Just if I didn't want to just screw people over enough, but yeah. Then I have a hero deck, and then a warrior spellcaster deck just to counter dragons. So I'll probably do the deck profiles that I have on those at another time if this video does pretty well. So here we have Ignoble Knights. Let me see. Ignoble Knight of High Lancelin. When he's special summoned, synchro summoned, you can equip 1 Noble Arms, equip spell card from your deck to this card by the end of the battle phase. If this card destroys a monster by battle, sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Noble Knight or Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. You can only control 1 Ignoble Knight of High Lancelin, sorry. So yeah, obviously if you could have like more than one of these, that would be super OP, just due to the fact that you'd be destroying stuff and grabbing Noble Knight Arms cards super fast. So here's the rank 5 Xyz monster for the Noble Knights. You got Sacred Noble Knight of King Arturigus, and his effect is, if I can get it to go. When this card is Xyz summoned, you can target up to 3 Noble Arms, equip spell cards with different names in your graveyard, equip those targets to this card. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 other monster on the field, destroy that target. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 4 or higher Noble Knight monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target, which is great. It's actually a super great card, super easy to get out, especially if you have Noble Knight cards that have equip cards on them. Most of the time, I'll actually go through a couple of these. Medrad is actually a pretty good example due to the fact that he's considered a normal monster if he doesn't have a Noble Arms card on him. So with any of these ones that are like this, they're just normal monsters, so you can really just ignore the effect. They're just like this until they get a Noble Arms card. But what ends up happening is when they get a Noble Arms card, then they actually gain a level, so you can overlay those, grab this guy out real quick, and then you can activate his effect as soon as you grab him, which is great. Other than that, you would probably be going for getting 3 of these guys. Arturigus, King of the Noble Knights. This guy is actually looking really cool. If I can get my camera to focus and that light to stop. There we go. This guy, the camera does not do it any justice, honestly. He looks so much more awesome in person. Kind of looks like he has an exosuit on, to be honest. But, yeah, 2 level 4s. And let's see. When this card is Xyz summoned, you can target up to 3 Noble Arms. Equip spell cards with different names in your graveyard. Equip those targets to this card once per turn. You can detach one materia from this card, destroy any number of spell or trap cards on the field up to the number of Noble Arms equipped cards you control. Wow, is that powerful? Up to the amount of Noble Arms cards you control, and that gives you 3 Noble Arms equipped cards once you special summon this guy. So you can target 3 spell or traps in your opponent's spell and trap card zone, and they go bye-bye. Alright, so we'll go through the last part of this, and I'll actually go ahead and get off for now on this one. Like I said, I'll probably go ahead and run. This is the actual like play mat. I'll go ahead and move these cards so you can kind of see it better. Nice little play mat here that they give you. It's actually really, really nice. I honestly haven't had a playmat before, but if Konami can keep putting out playmats like this, I will absolutely keep buying these things, because this thing looks absolutely amazing. And on the back of it, actually has a really nice grip style on it, so it will grip to anything. As you can see, I'm actually on a hardwood surface right now, so... And you can see this thing does not want to move, no matter how much I actually mess with it. So we'll go through the monsters right quick. So the first one is Medrot. We only got one of these. This guy, a lot of people actually like running 3 of him. I'm not sure what the ban list is right now. I have to refamiliarize myself with it. Let's see, this card, like I said, is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field. While equipped with the Noble Arms equipped spell card, this card becomes an effect monster with this effect. And this is basically how most of these Noble Knight cards actually work. They will be normal monsters. There's actually only one true normal type monster that is not like this in this deck. And it is, I believe it's King Arturigus. So, we'll go through his effect real quick. This card becomes dark, and its level is increased by 1. Like I was saying, he's level 4 right now, so once you equip that card to him, he's a level 5. Let's get that light out of the way. Once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you can special summon 1 Noble Knight monster from your deck in defense position, except the Noble Knight Medrot, and if you do, destroy 1 equipped spell card you control. So that right there is actually pretty awesome. But it's not... I mean, it's awesome because, like, the way that the Noble Arms equipped cards actually work, if they get sent to the graveyard, then you can start, like, doing other secondary stuff with them. So we'll go over Boars. I actually got 2 of. I know a lot of people actually got 1 of him. Well, from what I've seen, they have actually only got 1 of him, so I'll put 1 of him down. This is what he looks like. Let's see, try to get him without that light. Super bright. Alright, let's go over his effect. And the same thing is just going to apply to him. He's a normal monster until he's got a Noble Arms equipped spell card on him. This card becomes dark and its level is increased by 1. Again, great because he's a level 4 right now. He'll get bumped up to a level 5. So, let's see. Get it to focus. 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 Let's see. Come on. Focus for me, camera. There we go. During your main phase, you can reveal 3 Noble Arms cards from your deck. Have your opponent randomly add 1 of them to your hand and send the rest to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Boars once per turn, which is actually pretty great because you can actually just start getting stuff from your deck if you got them down. And number 2, well, number 3 technically, got Gwynethar, Queen of Noble Arms. Which actually looks really awesome too, with that nice sword coming down from her. That's Excalibur right there. And we got Spellcaster effect. You can target 1 Noble Knight monster you control, equip this card to that Noble Knight. I can only use that effect once per turn. Equipped monster gains 300 attack, which is pretty cool. And then, depending on the type of monster, which is right here, top right corner. This one's light, just like many of the other ones. There are actually, I think there's one other dark monster, but like these ones actually say when they go from normal to an effect monster, they get changed from light to dark type. And that's where this kind of kicks in. So get this to autofocus. If it's a light monster, the equip monster, if it would be destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy this card instead, which is actually really awesome. If it's a dark type monster, let's get it to focus again. Come on. Come on. And fail. There we go. If the equipped monster battles an opponent's monster at the start of damage type, you can destroy that monster and then destroy this card. So that's actually pretty cool. I personally would only like run 1 or 2 of these, just because it's gonna be taking up a monster slot. And you can add another Boars in there, or you can put another Medrod in there. That's just how I feel personally. But yeah. See, we got a pretty good stream going here. It's been 21 minutes. Alright, we'll try to speed through the rest of this. Gawain, however you want to say it. If you control a light type monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. This is actually pretty cool. He doesn't gain anything from that, though, except for being special summoned in defense position. You can just change him to attack position, so it really doesn't matter. Noble Knight Dristan. While you control another noble knight monster, your opponent cannot attack your monster with less than 1800 attack, except this card. For the attacks or with card effects, if a noble arms equipped spell card is equipped to this card, target one face-up card on the field, destroy that target. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Dristan once per turn. That's also a great effect. You can only use that once per turn, but that is great. All you have to do is equip this guy with a Noble Arms card, and he's good to go. He can defend himself. So you can just go ahead and say, no, I'm going to go ahead and destroy that for you. Alright, next up is Gwalchavad. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So we got another warrior effect monster here. Might end up adding 2 more reinforcements of the army. I have 1 in my warrior deck, so I might end up switching them around, adding a couple of things from there to here, and likewise to them, if I can find something that's actually useful. Alright, so you can target 1 Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and if you do, destroy 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card you control. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Gwalchavad per turn. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Targeting 1 Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, adding it to your hand. And then you destroy the equipped spell card, which still, it's not that bad of a cost because you'll be able to get it back with somebody else anyway. So, alright, next up is the only true normal type monster right here, Noble Knight Artorigus. Right here. That's the only normal monster that you will ever get. It's kind of pretty cool saying right there. If you want, you can go ahead and pause the video right here and read that. It's really cool. The main reason why I actually bought this deck was due to the fact that it was Noble Knights of the Round Table, and I'm such a history buff. Alright, next up is Night Day Grepher. Show his effect. He's a Gemini. Let's see, get this to focus. Come on, focus, please. Camera, please cooperate. Come on, work, please. There we go. Alright. So once you normal summon him for a second time, during the end phase, you can target 1 equipped spell card in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. You can only use this effect of Night Day Grepher once per turn. And there it is. The Gemini that saves your equipped spell cards. So it does not matter whether they get destroyed or not. As long as you can save Night Day Grepher, boom. You've got pretty much infinite Noble Arms equipped cards. Which is absolutely amazing for the amount of just effects that you can pull off with all of these guys, just chaining them on. Alright, so we'll go Lady of the Lake, which is actually pretty cool. I did actually read about like the Knights of the Round Table, so when I was in high school. So this really, really intrigued me thanks to my English teacher. She's Aqua Tuner, obviously good for that Synchro monster right there that I went over earlier. See, cannot be used as a Synchro material except for a Synchro summon of a Warrior type monster, which this entire deck is made of 4 more warriors. This card is used for a Synchro Summon, banish it. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 Noble Knight normal monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 level 5 Noble Knight monster you control. Reduce its level by 1, and if you do, special summon this card from the graveyard. So that's actually pretty cool, and for 1800 defense, that's actually really awesome. Let's see what's going on here real quick. That's my buddy. Alright, we're getting to the end here, people. No worries. I know it's, what has it been? 25 whole minutes now. Right, let's see. Sky, Ignoble Knights of Black Launcelin. His effects, let's see if we can get it to zoom in here. He's got 2000 attack, 800 defense. Come on, zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Please, thank you. You can send 1 face-up light normal type monster you control to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. You contribute 1 Noble Knight monster and add 1 Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Ignoble Knight Black Launcelin once per turn. You can only control 1 Black Launcelin on your field. So that's actually pretty cool. You can just go ahead and get Noble Arms cards from your deck. I mean, it I don't want to say it's like super awesome, just due to the fact that you're moving your deck around in the sense that you keep having to shuffle it, but also you're taking cards and it's going to end up being more of a faster paced duel because of that. Not sure if you guys are catching my drift, but it's just like with my fairy deck, I only go and search through for either Master Hyperion or another agent or something like that, or if it's like a Shining Angel, then I get like another Shining Angel. If that's, my second Shining Angel gets killed and sent to the graveyard, then I would get another like light monster. Depending on what it is, then I'll go for like Consecrated Light if I'm facing a dark deck, or just something that I can use, like Nova Summoner, even if I have Sanctuary in the Sky out. So we'll go with this one. Next up is Peridor. Noble Knight Peridor. He actually looks pretty cool. Alright, so while equipped with a Noble Arms equipped spell card, this card becomes dark and its level is increased by 1. Awesome, another one. This card is sent to the graveyard while equipped with a Noble Arms equipped card. Target 1 Noble Arms card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. That is actually pretty awesome, just due to the fact that once Peridor is destroyed, then you can actually send that equipped card that was equipped to him, or a different one that you would want, from the graveyard to your hand. So that's just another way to get your Noble Arms card back from the graveyard. Super awesome how this deck is just circumventing itself, essentially. You get stuff from your deck to your hand, and then you can get stuff back from like spell cards from your graveyard back to your hand, and just it's a whole just happy circle of life for these guys right now. It's really starting to love these guys and how they were actually put out. Let's see, you got Dawn Knight here, so 1400 attack, 1200 defense. This card is sent from the field to the graveyard. You can send 1 light monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is sent from your deck to the graveyard, target 1 light monster in your graveyard. Place that target on top of your deck. You can only use 1 Dawn Knight effect per turn and only once that turn. Alright, so basically you just use a different card to actually mill this from your deck, and then you can special summon something else. Right? Yeah. Place a target. No, you actually get it to the top of your deck. Okay. yeah, that's actually pretty cool. So you can actually, when you search that out, and let's fix this here. You actually search that out, throw it in your graveyard, but due to, I believe it's Medrot's effect, you can go ahead and put another Noble Knight card on top of your deck, which is actually pretty awesome. So you would probably shuffle your deck before you did that, and then you'd have that Noble Knight card, so you got boards right there. And then it comes with Honest. I think everybody at this point knows what Honest does. You can normal summon her and then drop her back to your hand. Take damage, take no damage for the next turn. And finally, the last card for the actual Noble Knights deck. We have Noble Knight Ektar, whose effect is you can banish 2 Noble Knight monsters from your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. You can only use this effect of Noble Knight Ektar once per turn. A Synchro or Xyz summon of a Noble Knight monster using this card as a material cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate or cards or effects when that monster special summon. That is just a great card right there. And it's not really broken at all, but just due to the fact that it's like literally one card, I might actually run and buy 2 more of those. Not 3 of them, because I would run 3 of them. But I'd probably buy 2 more of those just due to that effect right there. I know it is a level 5, but I can actually just use, was it Paradors? Can actually use Paradors effect or Lady of the Lake and just decrease his level by 1. Summon, or if he's already on the field, then he's already on the field. But decrease his level by 1. He's actually an easier monster to do. So summon. So, alright. So we're coming to the end here. I think I went over Gold Sarcophagus. Yeah, that's pretty useful. Torrential Tribute, everybody knows what that is. Effect Veiler, everybody knows now. Let's see, Bedware is actually really cool. So this is going to be the last of the monsters. So, Noble Knight Bedware right here. When this card is normal special summon, you can send 1 Noble Arms equipped card from your deck to the graveyard. During either player's turn, you can target 1 Noble Arms equipped spell card and 1 appropriate monster in the field. Equip spell card to that appropriate monster. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. So, pretty much once per every time that you summon this guy, you can get a Noble Arms card and just equip it to him or somebody else on the field. So, and then finally, we have the main character, I guess you could say, from this deck is going to be Merlin. A lot of people run 3 of him. I'm kind of tempted to get another Noble Knights box, just due to the fact that it would probably be cheaper than buying 2 more Merlins for like $350 a piece, and then going through buying more reinforcements of the armies, or like probably like 1 more reinforcements, and then also buying another Bedware. I might buy another Boars just due to his utility. That might be it, but I also, these mats look really good, and I would also buy it for another one of these last chapter of the Noble Knights, and also the chance at getting another Effect Veiler, which would be great. But yeah, I'd have to say that I actually got pretty lucky with my promo pack, getting all 3 of the pretty great cards. I would really, instead of Torrential Tribute, I could probably use another MST, especially for this type of a deck here. I would want to keep, just dropping my enemy's stuff off their back row. It would just help out a lot more. Torrential Tribute obviously helps just by getting monsters off the field, but that also means that I lose my monsters. Scoop these up here a little bit. Clean it up. Make it nice and neat. Alright. So we got Merlin here. Alright, pretty low tech and defense stats, but his effect is what makes him. So you can only use each effect of Merlin once per turn. Alright, so you can tribute this card, special summon 1 Noble Knight monster from your deck. You cannot special summon monster the turn you activate this effect. except Noble Knight monsters, which is obviously going to be only Noble Knight monsters. During either player's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard immediately after this effect results. Synchro summon one Noble Knight Synchro monster using monster you control. During either player's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Xyz summon one Noble Knight Xyz monster using monsters you control. That is actually pretty awesome because you can either Xyz or Synchro summon pretty much any monster from your extra deck that you want just by tributing, or not tributing only, but either banishing or banishing, or you contribute to get a Noble Knight from your deck. So yeah, I can definitely see why people would run 3 Merlins. Other than that, the last card that I'm gonna go over for today is gonna be the last chapter of the Noble Knights. We've got this beautiful looking card. I believe this is gonna be the one. Let's see, if you control no monsters and you target one Noble Arms equip spell card and one appropriate Noble Knight monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If you do, equip that spell card to the appropriate monster. You can only activate one of these per turn. I actually went over that already. I just remember now. But yeah, I probably would want to get 2 more, or actually 1 more of those, because I really don't want to overload the spells in this deck, just because the ratio here is actually pretty decent. So that's going to be all for now. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, comment on anything that I could do better, anything that was really good. I do appreciate constructive criticism. You can tell me how lucky I am by drawing the Effect Veiler, Torrential Tribute, and Gold Sarcophagus. I know this card is actually pretty valuable, as well as Effect Veiler. A lot of people pay pretty good top dollar for her. And go ahead and move these back up here. Extra deck cards. And yeah, so go ahead and tell me what you guys think about the video, and I will catch you next time. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I'm super excited for Destiny 2 to be coming out in September, and I'm going to be looking for something new to do. So this is probably going to be it. I'm going to do some deck profiles, and then that'll be should be enough to fill my time up between now and Destiny 2, with going in between, my regular work schedule. So, alright, thank you again, everybody, and hope that you are all doing great, and catch you next time.